Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift Another Smackdown, another solid show by WWE to make up for another lackluster edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you to everyone watching, whether it's live or on demand. All the regulars are here. Kayfabe Candy Ass, NoDQ Virtue. By the way, check out Virtue and Big Jeffrey later on tonight. If you are watching this live, once this stream is over, head over to nodq.com/virtue and check out Virtue and Big G as they recap Raw and SmackDown. Hopefully the video quality for tonight's stream is better than last night and we don't have any technical difficulties. Let's see how things go. All right, so SmackDown Live kicked off with a promo segment. We had Becky Lynch coming out talking about her upcoming championship match at SummerSlam. She was interrupted by Carmella. Carmella was doing her sad routine where she was crying. She was upset about all the negative social media comments, and she acted like she wanted to just go out there at SummerSlam, have a great match with Becky, and win the respect of everyone. She wanted to shake her hand, and then all of a sudden, James Ellsworth's music hit. Becky Lynch was distracted by this, and that's when we had Carmella attack Becky Lynch from behind. She went to grab a steel chair and was going to use the chair when all of a sudden Charlotte's music hit. Charlotte, of course, making her return. I believe her first appearance since Money in the Bank. She left to go take care of her ruptured breasts. She came out, I think it was two, by the way. I think it was both of them that she had work done on. Maybe just one, but she was out to take care of that nonetheless. Charlotte came out, made the save, and then backstage, Carmella complained to Paige. Paige was not hearing any of it, and Paige decided to put Carmella in a match with Charlotte for the main event because, of course, the women are changing the game in WWE. It's historic. We have a historic Evolution pay-per-view coming up in case you guys were not made aware of it. Paige decided to make the main event match, which will be Charlotte versus Carmella. If Charlotte wins, Charlotte gets added to the match at the pay-per-view. Poor Becky. So now Becky went from having a one-on-one match to potentially having to face two people, and yeah, on one hand, you're screwing over the babyface Carmella, but yeah, Paige is just being a jerk to poor Becky Lynch, who was set to have a one-on-one match. And I guess now if you run out there, interfere, make the save for somebody, you get an opportunity to be added to a match. I know Charlotte's Charlotte, but kind of a dick move by Paige when you look at it from Becky's perspective. Braden says, this pay-per-view's in October, right? So 2 more months of build-up to Evolution? Yeah, this might be the best built-up WWE pay-per-view of all time, if you want to look at it that way, because I sense WWE is going to just keep drilling this in our heads over and over again. Yes, Kayfabe Candy Ass, there is an all-women's pay-per-view this October, and it is called Evolution because the women have evolved. It's groundbreaking. It's historic. It is Evolution live on the WWE Network, October 28th, I believe. Maybe it's the 29th. I'm sure in a week or two I will know the date. I will never forget the date because WWE will make sure we don't forget it. It is coming up very soon. So stay tuned for a groundbreaking, historic pay-per-view. With 50 women, by the way. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Are you going to watch Evolution? Well, if I did not watch it, I would not be doing my job very well. So, of course, I will watch it because I like to do my job as best as possible. And I think it'll be a decent show. Hopefully the the over hype for this event doesn't turn me off on the pay-per-view. Caitlin's here. How's it going, Caitlin? Curtis Butler says, Glow-a-mania. Glow Season 2 was really good, by the way. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Tony says Evolution is greater than Roman versus Brock 4. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, wow, I'm just hearing about this right now for the first time ever. It is October 28th. It is. So check it out. October 28th, WWE Network. Now that that's out of the way, I think we've said enough about that pay-per-view. Let's move on here and talk about the tag team match, which was to determine which team will go to the finals of this mini tag team tournament. The winning team will go on to face the Bludgeon Brothers at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. It was the Usos against The Bar. The Bar finally get a big match on SmackDown after basically being gone for several months. It feels like several months at least. It just felt like they were drafted and then they pretty much disappeared. Ken Terminated by Google left a $5 super chat donation. Oh, Aaron dropped the D-bomb. Hashtag epic. Do you think WWE should have saved Charlotte's return at SummerSlam? Well, that depends. If somebody like Dean Ambrose is returning at SummerSlam, then you do not want to do two big returns on the same show. If nobody's returning at SummerSlam, then you could make that argument. But then again, it's Charlotte. She's a major star. And I guess WWE wanted to just fit her in at SummerSlam. The thing is, if WWE's doing a triple threat with Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Nakamura, and now you're doing a triple threat with those three women, that could be a little bit of overkill, doing two triple threat championship matches on the same show. And by the way, Wasim is here. He says NoDQ is dead. Ooh, that is harsh. NoDQ is dead. Wasim, how about some actual feedback about the show? Join the conversation. Let's get some SmackDown feedback from Wasim. Anyways, back to the match here. We had The Bar defeating the Usos in what I thought was a pretty good match. We did have the New Day on commentary being obnoxious as usual. They had their own announce table, complete with their brown, whatever color it is. I'm somewhat colorblind, so I'm not even sure what color their announce table was. It's just something completely off the wall. I guess it was pancake color. What color is a pancake technically? Brown, right? A brownish yellow? I'm not even sure. Orange? Okay, it was orange, according to several people in the chat room. Orange, brown, that's all the same to me. Courtney says, Aaron, you do a great job, bro. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Caitlin says brown. John says a golden brown. Okay, so there you go. A golden, brown, yellow, orange. I don't know. I don't know what color it is, but I think we're spending too much time talking about the color of the New Day's table. Ken Terminated by Google says it's crap color, Aaron. That's a good point right there. I did think the match was good, though. And next week, we are going to have the New Day versus The Bar. I'm assuming The Bar will win since they are a heel tag team. And actually, no. Crap. Are we really going to get New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam? Oh, crap. See, this should have been different. It should have been The Bar versus Sanity, and then you could have Sanity win and do heel versus heel, which might be cool. But then I don't know. The whole thing just feels weird to me. I just don't want to see the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers at the pay-per-view. Dylan Folk says New Stale is going to win. I mean, I guess the Bar could win and it could be heel versus heel. I just feel of all the teams that were in this mini tournament, New Day is like the last team I want to see face the Bludgeon Brothers. Just my own personal opinion, by the way. Braden says no four-way for some unexplained reason. They could do that. Maybe that'll happen next week. Maybe there'll be some sort of screwy finish and they'll do another triple threat with 3 tag teams. Who knows? But I did think the match was good, nonetheless. All right, moving on here. We had a great promo by Samoa Joe. Joe is just on fire with his promos. In my opinion, he is right up there among the best promo guys in WWE right now. Some might argue Paul Heyman. Some might argue The Miz. But I think Samoa Joe has just been knocking it out of the park night in and night out with his promos. Hero Villain 5 with a $20 super chat donation. Thank you, Hero Villain 5. Are you feeling this SummerSlam this week did not do anything to be excited about? Keep it up, Aaron. Great, at least this post show is always good. I thought that SmackDown did a good job overall in terms of building up the pay-per-view. Better than Raw, that's for sure. Virtues like Joe, really? Yeah, I thought Samoa Joe did a great promo tonight. He made it personal. He brought up their past. He brought up how AJ is so focused on his family that he's losing a step, and Joe said that AJ is a terrible father. Actually, I think he said it reverse. He said that AJ is so invested in WWE, he's grinding so much that he doesn't focus on his family. So I just mixed that up. He called AJ a failure as a father, called him a bad father, a bad husband. Good stuff here by Joe, just making it personal. Joe was intense as hell. I thought it was a great promo. I love Samoa Joe's promo work. I think he's one of the best on the mic. And I think this should be a hell of a match if these guys are given the opportunity to have the best match possible. I know we all said that about AJ and Joe. Hopefully WWE doesn't blow it with these guys, and hopefully the match can deliver on the big stage. We had another promo, so a rare back-to-back promo segment on WWE television. This feels like a throwback to like the Attitude Era, where we had not one but 2 promo segments back-to-back. We had Jeff Hardy come out for a promo, and then he was calling out Randy Orton, but then as Orton was coming out to confront him, Shinsuke Nakamura attacked Jeff Hardy from behind. Nakamura was going for the Kinshasa, but Randy Orton got in his way, I guess, to maybe set up the triple threat for SummerSlam. Orton was in Nakamura's way, but then moved aside, and Nakamura hit the Kinshasa, left, and then Randy Orton proceeded to just beat the holy hell out of Jeff Hardy again. Hardy was stomped repeatedly by Orton. Orton took him to the outside, put him on the announce table, grabbed a bottle of water, poured it on Hardy's face, and then started rubbing off the face paint, and then ripped off Hardy's necklace. Good stuff here. I love Randy Orton as a heel. I'm so happy he's doing this Apex Predator gimmick the way that we all remember it from 2009, 2010. More 2009, I should say. I guess 2008, 2009. I mean, that was when Orton was really at his peak as far as being the vicious heel goes. Really solid stuff here from Orton, to the point where some people on social media were quite upset about it. Mostly women with children that were watching SmackDown and were very upset about this. Go on my Twitter and you can see what I'm talking about. A fan that was very upset about what happened here. But that's how you know you're doing it right. When people are actually getting upset. That is a great heel beatdown. So I just wish Randy could do more. I bet if Orton had no limit and the handcuffs were completely off, I think Orton could just do some really vicious stuff. Mike B with a $9.99 super chat donation. Thank you, Mike B. I'm thinking that Jeff Hardy will reintroduce either Willow or Brother Nero at SummerSlam versus Randy Orton. Maybe Brother Nero. I would be surprised if Willow shows up because Willow never came off to me as like the most marketable gimmick. But then again, I had my doubts about Brother Nero and the whole broken mat thing. So maybe he will introduce Willow to the WWE Universe at SummerSlam. More Faves says, not Willow, please. Brother Nero is great. Willow is lame. Jake Lake Carpenter with a $1 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Jake. By the way, how is the stream tonight? I'm not seeing any complaints about it, so I'm under the impression it's better tonight. So let me know in the chat how the stream has been so far. Hopefully it holds up. Hopefully we don't have problems. Tony H says, SmackDown is greater than Raw. I agree. That's pretty much a given every week. It would take a lot for SmackDown to be worse than Raw because Raw just drags and I have so many creative issues with Monday Night Raw. SmackDown, though, seems to be a solid show every week. And it really makes me wonder if different people are writing the shows. I was always under the impression that Vince has the final say for both shows. But maybe there's some different people working on different shows. If that's the case, the people with SmackDown are definitely doing it better. Now, of course, we also have to keep in mind that SmackDown is a 2-hour show. And I think that does make a difference because some of the crap, some of the segments that get drawn out, those are cut out. On SmackDown, WWE goes right to the point with these segments. And I think that that is one reason why SmackDown is better. The fact that it's just an hour shorter. There could be some other forces creatively working on SmackDown. But keep in mind, Vince is in charge. Vince is the guy who makes the final decisions on both shows. Not just SmackDown, but Raw as well. So it is something interesting. But I think that SmackDown being 2 hours definitely helps. And I think that's probably a bigger factor than SmackDown perhaps having some different people creatively writing the show. Let's move on here. We had two really solid promo segments in a row. We had Lana versus Zelina Vega in Vega's first match on the main roster on television. I'm not sure if she's wrestled at live events or not, but this was definitely her first televised main roster match. And I actually thought that this was decent. I had mixed feelings going in. I thought, okay, Lana has been kept out of these one-on-one match situations for the most part, and Vega hasn't been on a main roster televised match. So is this really a good idea? I thought it was fine. I didn't have any major issues with it. Lana showed a lot of charisma and personality, and I think that makes up for her lack of experience in the ring. I love the Lana Rooney, by the way. I think she should do that on a regular basis. I'm sure Booker T's cool with it. You would hope at least that she got his okay to do it. But yeah, Lana Rooney, I think she should be doing that every week. I think that should be part of her routine every week on television. The storyline, of course, continuing the soap opera between Lana, Rusev, and Aiden English. I pretty much telegraphed this with Andrade Cien Almas being there at ringside. I figured, okay, he's going to interfere, and then Aiden English will come out, and then Lana will lose because of the distraction. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Almas was getting on the apron, and then we had Aiden English make the save, but Lana was distracted, and Vega was able to score the victory over Lana. Pretty much the same thing that happened last week with Rusev losing to Almas. Then we had a backstage segment, more tension between Lana, Aiden English, and Rusev. Rusev was trying to talk to Aiden, but Aiden stormed off. So, interesting storyline here. Again, what's going to happen with Aiden English when this is all said and done? You know what? I hope WWE drags it out. Hopefully it doesn't end up where they... Well, see, here's the thing, to use Jeff Meacham's line. I'm upset about the Bayley-Sasha thing and how that has seemingly gone nowhere. I feel like with this storyline, it has to lead to some sort of breakup. But for selfish reasons, I almost hope that they stay together. I'm of course talking about Aiden English and Rusev, just because I think they're better off together than apart right now. But I mean, it certainly seems to be building up towards a split, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if WWE goes through with it, or if they get cold feet and they keep them together. What do you guys think? Do you think it's too soon, or do you think the time is right to split them up? More Faves says Aiden will be curtain jerking against Dillinger soon enough. Word Life says any plans for John Cena at SummerSlam? Well, there was the speculation about John Cena maybe facing The Undertaker again, but the fact that there's been no tease for it at this time makes me think it's not happening. I think if it was going to happen, WWE would have done something by now to set up a match at SummerSlam. I mean, they could at the last minute, but I feel like it's not going to happen. I think they would have done something by now to set up that match if it was going to happen. By the way, John says it's too soon to break them up right now. Braden says the time is right. Tyler says never split them. All right, so let's move on here. We did have a promo from the Bludgeon Brothers to hype up the SummerSlam match. And then we had another promo segment with Daniel Bryan coming out and basically setting up the SummerSlam match with The Miz. Miz did a backstage. I'm sure he was backstage, but they were playing it off like he was in Hollywood, filming more content for Miz and Mrs. Miz and Mrs. I like to say Miz and Mrs. But regardless, Miz was doing this promo on Bryan, and good stuff between the two of them. Miz was bringing up their past, talking about how talking smack kept Bryan relevant, and Miz said Bryan should just let his contract expire and go back to working in high school gyms. Daniel Bryan was ripping into The Miz for trying to be like The Rock. He specifically mentioned The Rock, so really interesting. The Rock was name dropped on both shows this week, not just Raw, but SmackDown as well. Very interesting. Of course, there is the speculation that The Rock is going to come back and do something, maybe do another WrestleMania match. Very interesting that WWE would name drop The Rock not once but twice in the span of 1 week. Very interesting. Who knows? Maybe The Rock shows up at SummerSlam. Maybe The Rock will be the guest referee for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Actually, now that I think about it, that might not be a very good idea, because I sense that would just make the crowd turn on the match even more and just cheer for The Rock. Think of Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg from WrestleMania 20. I think it would give me those kind of vibes again, where the crowd would care more about the referee than the actual match participants. The crowd would just chant for Rocky and boo the other guys. Maybe The Rock versus Elias, as Kurapika07 points out. Jake Lee Carpenter with a $1 Super Chat donation. Thank you for that, Jake. We need The Rock back, he says. Well, The Rock would certainly make things a little bit more interesting on Raw, that's for sure. Maybe The Rock shows up for SmackDown 1000. I mean, I think that has to happen. Oh, and Braden points out the Usos also mentioned The Rock with one of them. I still forget which is which. I still don't know which is which, I should say. One of them started doing The Rock's catchphrase, but then the other one said, hey, it's a PG-13 show. You can't say candy ass. But yeah, so 3 references to The Rock in 1 week. Is he coming back at SummerSlam to confront Elias? Is he coming back at SmackDown 1000 in October? Is he coming back at WrestleMania? One would think we're going to see The Rock sooner than later, especially with all these name drops. I don't think it's a coincidence that his name is being referenced. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, you can say candy ass. The Rock gets paid $1,000 every time his name is mentioned. If that's true, that's pretty much chump change for The Rock. I wish I would be paid like $100 every time my name is referenced by somebody. That would be nice, but ain't gonna happen. There was one thing I did not like about this Miz and Daniel Bryan promo, and that's the end. I didn't like Miz having his queued up clip of all these crying babies. I thought it was too hokey. I thought it wasn't really believable that Miz would just happen to have this clip prepared and queued up to randomly use on Daniel Bryan. And I just thought adding comedy to this segment wasn't really necessary. I thought you had good intensity between these guys, and I thought the crying babies was just too much. Not necessary for this segment. That's the one thing I didn't like. Other than that, I thought it was really good. Curtis Butler says, I agree, and Kayfabe Candy Ass also agrees. Agreed, it felt real, and at the end it felt like a fake wrestling promo. Dylan says the crying babies was annoying as hell. So, looks like you guys agree with me on that one for the most part. Other than that, good segment, and good promos for the most part on this show. Sean says the crying babies was hilarious. But this segment wasn't meant to be funny. It was supposed to be a serious main event style promo, and you're doing comedy. Just did not fit for me. Didn't work for me. We had the main event segment, which of course makes sense since WWE is promoting a historic pay-per-view, WWE Evolution, coming up in October 28th, on the WWE Network for just $9.99 or free for new subscribers, in case you guys have forgotten about it. We had Charlotte Flair versus Carmella. Fine match. Carmella was trying to get Charlotte counted out, which makes sense in the storyline. But in the end, Charlotte picked up the win with the figure 8. I was a little surprised. Not that Carmella tapped out right away, but the fact that she was so close to the ropes and she did not even attempt to reach for the ropes when it looked like they were almost reachable. She could have easily reached the ropes, but whatever. She tapped out, and now the match at SummerSlam is in fact a triple threat, and Becky Lynch's chances of winning drastic go down. But maybe she knows when you add Carmella to the mix that since her chances drastic go down, she's not even going to try. They did show Carmella in the back watching on the monitor, and she was very upset, even though she did a promo beforehand saying she wasn't going to root against her best friend. So the plot thickens for SummerSlam. Maybe, as Word Life says, maybe we're going to get a Becky Lynch heel turn. This would certainly be a good opportunity to do it. I would not be opposed to the idea. I think she's a great babyface, but we haven't seen her as a heel yet on the main roster in WWE, so maybe this will be the time. This would certainly be a good opportunity to plant the seeds and do something with her. Did I say Carmella by mistake? I meant Becky Lynch in the back watching on the monitor. Sorry, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know I'm talking about Becky. Yeah, Base Dash Ketchum, you get it. You guys get it, so you don't need to josh me around here. Hero Villain, I have not watched the Elias documentary yet, but I will try to in the near future. I did watch The Table for Three with Bruce Pritchard, Eric Bischoff, and JBL, which I thought was really good. But again, my general issue with Table for Three is I actually think it's too short. I know I complain about too much content, but Table for Three is one of those shows where I feel like they're just starting to dig in and really start to warm up as far as getting into a deep conversation goes, and then it's over. They just go on to the next discussion, and it ends before it really has the chance to really get deep into the conversation. So that's my big criticism of Table for Three. I think it should be an hour long. I think 30 minutes is too short for them to really dig in and get a good conversation going. I mean, they were starting to get heated, and I wanted more of that, and then it was over. So SmackDown Live, good show this week. Another solid B from me. If it wasn't for the babies with The Miz and Daniel Bryan, I might have gone with a B+ for this show. I mean, it was a very solid, entertaining 2 hours of television. Not much to complain about. I think the build for SummerSlam was good on this show. So there you go. For those of you that say I'm too negative, I mean, NoDQ Live is basically like Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, on Raw, I'm frustrated, I'm ranting, and on SmackDown, I'm in a good mood. I'm praising the show. It's a tale of two NoDQ lives. But yeah, I did enjoy SmackDown, and I think it's a show worth watching. I think it is a show you can invest the 2 hours in and get a good viewing out of it. You could also just watch the YouTube clips and save yourself some time, but I think it was a solid show. Solid B. Caitlin liked it. She gave it an A-. Curtis with a B. TK with a B. He gave an A for Charlotte's new work. There you go. I see what you did there. Sean says Kurt, Sting, and Ric Flair's Table for Three is a prime example of what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way. Eddie Smith says to check out their appearance on Sam Roberts' podcast. Much better than Table for Three, he says. Do I have to listen to Sam Roberts? I'd rather just hear the three guys on their own on the WWE Network, but that's just me. All right, so on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all for watching. I'm glad the stream was better this week. Hopefully next time it'll be better. I shouldn't say next week, I meant today. Yesterday the stream was bad. Actually, it was bad, I think, for last week's SmackDown NoDQ Live, but hopefully it stays good. Hopefully I don't have more issues. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate your patience with the videos if they are glitchy sometimes. Thank you guys very much for tuning in again. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam and lots of stuff going on in the world of wrestling right now. So NoDQ.com, NoDQ.com/shirts if you would like to support the website, pick up a t-shirt, support your favorite personalities. I will be back later this week with the NoDQ review. We got Wrestling Trivia Challenge, NoDQ video, and more great content coming up. So stay tuned to the website, stay tuned to the YouTube channel, spread the word, tell a friend, and I will see you guys next time. Whoa! I was just about to click off, but I got a super chat donation here. So this guy says, I'm still upset about Bobby Lashley. As am I, but I don't know what else to say about Bobby Lashley. They should have kept him in the title picture. They should have done a triple threat for SummerSlam just so we get something different, but they didn't do it. And now Lashley's feuding with Elias, which is, I guess, good for Elias because it keeps him in a relevant program. But yeah, I think it hurts Bobby Lashley, the fact that he did not ask for one more match with Roman Reigns to, have the rubber match settle the score. I mean, they could just go back to that after SummerSlam. Bobby Lashley challenges Roman Reigns Would not shock me if Roman Reigns wins, and then if there's no cash in, Bobby Lashley is Roman Reigns' challenger for Hell in a Cell. That could be their third match inside Hell in a Cell. In that case, it would actually make sense because they had their 2 matches. So the third match, you put it inside Hell in a Cell to settle it. So to me, that would work out. Bob the Lash versus the Big Dog at Hell in a Cell. Anyways, on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. And stay tuned. Tune in. If you guys are watching live right now and you want more, Big G and Virtue are going to be doing their video. Head over to nodq.com/virtue for that. That should be starting up here in just a few minutes. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ Live. See you guys next time.